Hey guys, time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. Let's hop right in and talk about what happened here today. I'll start with myself today instead of Rafa, just because I'm standing here. So I managed to finish getting the stock beam disassembled the rest of the way and pulled it off the car. Actually, Rafa and I pulled it off together. It would not have been a good idea for me to pull that beam basically with one hand. So enlisted his help, and he happily hopped in, and we lowered it down, got it out of the way. So that being the case, I took the new beam and installed the torsion leaves in it. If anyone's going to put one of these together with new leaves or even with used leaves, check I've got a tech tip that shows you how to kind of put tapers on the end of the leaf stacks. It kind of helps them go into everything easier, and then wrap them with like electrical tape or something like that. Make your life much easier. That's in one of my tech tips. It's a short, I think. Anyway, so yeah, of course, being a Volkswagen part, it fought me. The top arms were okay. The bottom arms, for whatever reason, when I started putting them in, they were basically binding on the inner bushings. So this is an empty beam, which for the most part seems pretty nice. The outer are actually roller bearings, which is really nice. The inner, though, are like I'm not sure if they're Delrin. They didn't really look like Delrin. Some kind of plastic bushings, the inner ones, and they were just tight. They were not going to allow the suspension to articulate in a nice, free, smooth way. I tried switching the arms from left to right to see if it was an arm issue. I tried the arms back on the original beam, and they seemed to move fine. So definitely this beam, definitely not the arms or anything else. So the inner bushing sits about right here on the inside there. And so what I did was I talked to my buddy Brian Roth, who is also a VW mechanic here locally. You can look up his shop. I mention him every once in a while. And he said, yeah, he sees this sometimes too. And basically what he ends up doing is somehow going in and reaming the inner bushing until you get a good fit. He made some suggestions for some tools, none of which I had. So pretty much made my own. Pretty much took a piece of, I think it was 8mm by 1mm wall tube, and cut a slit down both sides. That allowed me to put a piece of sandpaper in, doubled over, so both sides are sanding, and then kind of fold this around itself and stick it in there, and then just kind of while this is rotating, ream back and forth that inner bushing, do that a little bit, check for fit, do it again, etc., etc. I probably reamed each of those lower bushings with that tool that I just showed, maybe like half a dozen times, kind of checking for fit after each time. And yeah, after about that many times, it was still snug, and I still had to kind of tap the arm in with a mallet, which is fine. But once it was in, it would rotate very freely. This was actually, I did this without the springs in there, so I could really understand what was going on with the arm in those bushings. So once I was happy with that on both sides, then of course I went ahead and put the leaf springs back in, got it all assembled, put the steering box on it. This car had a couple pieces of incorrect hardware on it, so we're fixing that. One is they use a lock like this for the pitman arm, where you basically fold over the little piece of sheet metal. It had like a traditional split lock washer on it. So, while we had this stuff apart, it makes sense to correct some little details like that. This car does have mostly correct K-Max hardware and stuff, super clean, awesome restoration. But, again, while I was there, I decided to put on the correct ones. Likewise, on the steering box clamp itself, it had split lock washers. These are actually the right ones here. So once we finalize the position of the steering box as far as its rotation, then you bend the tab down on these little sheet metal ones, one on each side here, bottom and top. And so, yeah, I did actually try to put this beam back in the car myself twice, and it did not go well. It was pretty clear that I was going to get myself in a bad situation trying to do that with basically one arm. So I hate giving up, but it seemed like the right thing to do. So no big deal. It was already towards the end of the day. So when Rafa comes in the morning, we'll go ahead and pop this beam in here, get it all bolted up, and then from there, I've got to set the shims on the link pins here to get all that correct. And yeah, it'll go back together pretty quick from there. But yeah, it wasn't happening. I was either going to hurt myself or, I don't know, drop this beam and break my other wrist. Who knows? But yeah, it was pretty clear when I started trying to jack the beam up and balance it on the beam, it was not going to go well. So sometimes you got to know when to say when. So that's pretty much it for me. This thing should go back together tomorrow. I was hoping to get it back together today, but I ended up spending quite a bit of time reaming those bottom bushings. So welcome to Volkswagen parts here. As far as Rafa is concerned, he continued to work on the back of the 59 bus. Not much I'm going to be able to show because we already shoved it back nearly against the shelf back there so we could get the cars away for the evening. But this is going to be hard to see, so sorry. But as you can see, the rear valence is now installed. Looking good. I don't know why that's not focusing. There we go. Yeah, so rear valence is installed. Looks super nice. Very clean looking back there. The rear deck lid is installed, as you can see. Also looking really good. We need to get the latch, part of the latch for it here, so that'll go on when we get it. And then the rear hatch is all installed, and the handle, T-handle for it, and the striker plate and all that mechanism. So those were kind of the main things he did today. He did work on hooking up the heater cables. Like most things with this bus, it's supposed to be easy, but they fought him some. So he got the mechanism here in the front installed for the heater. That's that ivory knob in the middle. In the back, I think he still needs to connect it to the heater boxes. But yeah, lots of things with this bus. Well, any Volkswagen for that matter, but this one in particular, a lot of things that are supposed to be easy just end up kind of fighting us for one reason or another. But it's going to be an amazing bus when it's done, so it'll be worth the effort. But that is pretty much it for today, guys. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday. Have a good evening.